Well, looks like we're going to do a little more factoring here. Is this thing working? Alright, so I just want to remind you of the process you go through anytime you factor. First thing you do when you're factoring, you always look for a greatest common factor. That's number one. Number two, after you try to find a greatest common factor, you see how many terms you have. And if you have two terms, you might try to see if you have a difference of squares. If you have three terms, you're going to make two sets of parentheses. And if you have four terms, you are going to try grouping. Now, once you're done factoring, you might actually be able to factor even further, so you check to see if you can do that. And there's one thing that I've left off this list that you should actually do at the very end of this process, and that is check your work. So we'll add that in there. Purple pen, why not? Alright, so let's go ahead and do some factoring. I'm going to get rid of that there. Okay, let's do a few problems here. Question number one. I look for a GCF, and in this problem, I'm going to try 4. So let's see if that works. It should. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and I still need the b squared, so 1b squared is left. Minus 16b, because this 4 right here times negative 16b would give me negative 64. And 252 divided by 4 is 63, so I'm going to put plus 63 right there. Alright, so there's a GCF. Now I look inside my parentheses. I have 3 terms. That's a trinomial. So that tells me that I need to make 2 sets of parentheses. The 4 comes along for the ride. That's just going to be part of our answer. And I see that I have a plus. I look at this 63. It's a positive, so I put 2 minus signs right there because there's a minus right in front of the 16. Remember, when you have a positive, you always double up on your sign in the middle. So we put 2 negatives. B squared is going to be b and b. And we need 2 numbers that multiply to give us 63, but when you add them, they give you negative 16. And those 2 numbers are, did you guess? 9 and 7. That would be our answer right there. Sometimes you can factor what's in the parentheses even further, but you can't factor b minus 9. You can't factor b minus 7. So you are finished. A couple things I want you to know about this answer. It consists of 3 factors. The first factor is 4. The second factor is this quantity b minus 9. And the third factor is the quantity b minus 7. So those are 3 factors. Factors are expressions that are being multiplied together. If you multiply together a frown and a smile, I guess the frown and the smile would each be considered factors. Okay, let's see here. Second problem. I see a GCF of 3. It's a good idea to check the number, the coefficient in front of the x squared to see if that's the GCF. What do we have left? Well, we have x squared plus 8 minus 20, just like that. Alright, 3 comes along for the ride. 2 sets of parentheses. Look in front of the 20, it's minus, so that's automatically a positive and a negative. X squared is x and x. And what are 2 numbers or 2 factors that multiply to give you negative 20 and add to give you 8? Well, 10 and 2 would work. Since we want positive 8, forgot about my x right there, didn't I? Since I want a positive 8x, I'm going to make the 10 positive and I'll make the 2 negative, and that'll give me the positive 8 that I need. And we are finished. Okay. Some people might be saying, well, what if you wanted to check your work? How would you do that? So let me erase some of this other stuff over here. I'll do a little erasing. See you later, problem number 1. Okay. Alright, let's actually check this right now. Go back to my pen. Here's how I'd check. First off, I'd write the word check. That way, I'm just reminding myself what I'm doing over here. And I'd write down what I think my answer is. This answer has a positive slope because it's going uphill. Little math joke. Okay. And I just distribute my 3 first off. That's 3x plus 30. Keep parentheses around that though. And I keep my other quantity that's hanging out right there. Now I distribute again. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. There's 30x. My dog's wondering why I'm yelling. And there is negative 60 right there. Now I see two like terms right in the middle. Combine them up. That would give me a positive 24x. And then that minus 60 comes along for the ride. So you can see that when we do the multiplying, we get what we started with right there. That means that we have the right answer. Hallelujah. Alright, let's do 2 more problems here where we are factoring completely. I'm going to clear this. Good to go. Go to the next page. Number 3. Well, I'm going to try 6 as my GCF. That gives me p squared plus 2p minus 3. Remember, at this point, if you're wondering why I have p squared plus 2p minus 3, it's because I divided all 3 terms by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. The p squared has to come along. 12 divided by 6 is 2. And negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3. If you distribute that 6 back into the parentheses, you get what you started with. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going here. 6. I have 3 terms. I have a trinomial inside those parentheses, so we're going to make it p and p. This minus sign tells me one of each. And let's go with a positive 3 and a negative 1, because when we multiply, that gives us the negative 3, and when we add, that gives us the positive 2. So that works for us. There's our answer right there. I would read that answer 6 times the quantity p plus 3 times the quantity p minus 1. Little side note, if you're wondering if you could actually write this problem like this, 6 times the quantity p minus 1 times the quantity p plus 3, you could. It means the same thing. Alright, let's see. Let's erase that and do one last problem. Oh my gosh, 385, that's big. Let's factor out a 5. There's an n squared plus, how many times does 5 go into 90? Well, it goes into 120 times, and 2 less 5s would give us 90, so I'm thinking that's 18. Let's put 18 right there. Okay, plus, well, how many times does it go into 385? Ooh, there's a toughie. It goes into 38. Let's forget about the 5. 5 goes into 38 7 times, because 7 times 5 is 35. So let's put a 7. 7 times 5 is 35, so 38 take away 35 is 3. Oh, there's another 35 that we have, so it's 7 again. And we're good. Okay, keep the 5 as part of the answer. Trinomials mean 2 parentheses. We have a plus, so we double up on our sign. Plus plus. Need ends to get n squared. And let's try 11 and 7. If you multiply, that gives you 77, and if you add, that gives you 18. So we are in the money. Right there is our answer. When you're doing problems like this, the coefficient of the squared or the quadratic term, this is our quadratic term right here, that coefficient is not always the greatest common factor. I've only set these problems up this way because we're new at doing this. So don't think in your mind that it's always going to be that simple. Yes, I am going to make it more complicated. And no, don't say to yourself, it's already too complicated. Okay, we are done.